Damn train tracks is what I want. For crying out loud. Scoot over. Oh my goodness. Hello, Timmy. I can't read the screen. I see your icon though. That looks like Tiger. Hi, Tiger. I don't know who the next person is, but anyway, so hello there, Bucci Bunch. So just spent 2.5 hours in an interview, and this is one that I had interviewed for at a different location. I'm in Canada right now, and one in Point Defiance. So I'm like, all right. So the executive director was over at Point Defiance the day that I went in for my interview a while back, and so I don't understand why I have had to go through another interview and do the whole, produce some ingredient or some dishes, which this time it was a dessert, an entree, and a side, which I chose a blanched broccoli salad. And I said, well, I was really hoping that we had some sardines or anchovies. So to just visualize this with anchovies or sardines on it and just call it a day, So it's like they liked it. It had a balsamic dressing and dried fruits and so on and so forth, and some mozzarella cheese. I would have preferred to add fresh cheese, but I didn't have fresh cheese. So, it is whatever it is that I can actually. Hey there, I can't read the screen while I'm driving. Mount Rainier looks really hazy right now. So, anyway, so I made chicken alla francaise with noodles, and I added some blistered cherry tomato to it, like I always do, and chicken was just lightly breaded, and then I added some more blanched broccoli to it because it needed some green to it, and I'm trying to steer away from using microgreens for my garnish, and trying to go with food. And plus this is for seniors, so it's like they're not going to totally understand the whole concept behind microgreens and stuff like that, and never in my life have I ever heard your dishes are too elevated. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, WTF is that supposed to mean? Too elevated? It's like, well, so I just kind of looked at him like, what? And so he's explaining to me that there would have to be descriptions that describes a dish, or calling it something else. I fully understand that. However, if I'm gonna be in a freaking working interview where I actually have to cook something in a kitchen that's not mine, with ingredients that I didn't order, and I have to go looking for ingredients, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna call it exactly what it is, but I'm also I also fully understand that, these are old people, and old people, they like simple tastes and stuff like that. But it's like the dish was too elevated, and it's like, so anyway, it's a beautiful location. It's not that far from Des Moines Marina, which is where I wanted to stop, but I wasn't planning on stopping for very long. So I didn't, and then on top of all of it, I left my wallet at home, so I couldn't pay for parking because it's a cashless system. So I couldn't even get in, short of parking, up at the top of the hill and then having to walk. And my old ass, as sore as I am, there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to do that, especially in this heat. It's 92 degrees here in Western Washington, and it is currently 4 o'clock, and I'm taking the back road in home because I am not getting on a 167. So anyway, what does that mean for these channels? I'll have Saturday and Sunday off, so it's a Monday through Friday gig, and it's 40 hours. So it's like 5/8. It would be 5/8. And he goes, so he gave me a tour of the place. Got to see what the apartments look like. And they're actually quite nice apartments, It's like nice and light and bright and cheerful. Big freaking windows. They got balconies. And it's, not a slider door, but just a regular door that leads out to the balcony. And it's just really, really neat. And so the burning question is, so what happened next? What happens next? Where do we go from here? I'll let you know how things go, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to you as soon as possible. How long of a time frame do you need to turn in a notice? And I'm like, a month. I need a month. So, anyway, so I'm driving home, and I went by the marina. Realized I left my wallet at home, and so I didn't have a way to pay for parking to get into the marina or to the beach because they got both of those blocked off, which is understandable because, chances are the reason why that they got that all blocked off is because, the homelessness situation. They didn't want a whole bunch of people, taking up residence there at the marina, and there was a lot of people on the pier. So, yeah. Anyway, so I decided I was going to take the long way home, which was basically drive past the marina, and then drop down the hill into Kent, and then get on a 167 instead of getting on a I-5, because I-5 is more headache than it is anything else, especially considering that would be the exit that I would be taking had I gotten onto I-5 from Tequila. I would have been taking that exit anyway and drop down the hill and come across the valley and get on the 167. So I'm just getting to the bottom of the hill, and my phone rings, and I can't read my screen, so I just went ahead and answered the phone. And so here we are. Hey, it's Zeke. And I'm like, hey, Zeke, how's it going? I'm sure I'm probably going to hear from Diana pretty soon. She was my former marketing manager when I was working as a culinary director for Enliven. And so we were talking back and forth. He goes, so what kind of pay were you looking for? I said, to be honest, I don't even remember what the pay scale said. It was like, if I can remember correctly, it was like the ad said like 35 to 40 something an hour. And he's like, oh, let me take a look at it and see what it is. And I was expecting him to say, oh, $27, $28 an hour. And I'd be like, no. And so he finds it and he goes, yeah, it's 35 to 42 an hour. I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, does that sound about right? I go, yeah, that's right in my ballpark. So, um, and I'm kind of confused because that's usually something that you ask at an interview, right? And so he's like, "Well, I want to put in a verbal offer, and I'll have an offer letter for you." And goes, "So how much do you want?" I go, "Well, you said 35 to 42. What do you think is fair for my level of expertise?" He goes, "Well, I want to offer you 42 an hour." I'm like, "Sold, mother effing sold." I didn't say that, but I wanted to, and I'm like trying to keep it as low key as humanly possible. I don't want to sound all excited and stuff like that, because just kind of keeping it low key, right? So anyway, Monday through Friday. It's going to take a little bit longer for me to get home, but it's okay. You know, it's not a big deal. Um, I'm actually kind of excited. So tomorrow morning, I get to turn in my notice. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I've already turned in my notice one other time before, and look where that got me. Yeah. So that is that. So yeah, I'd be stupid to not take this because you know I'll be able to. Oh, this is the other thing, is that I get to create my own menu. um I get to create my own menus, so I get to write my own menus. I got to meet the staff that I'll be leading. Seem like very nice ladies. A couple of them are older than me, and I'm old as dirt. I'm getting up there, but it's like, after the weekend that I had, I've come to the realization that I just can't, I can't be slinging these damn massive freights anymore. It's like I was seriously hurting. Today is the first day that in my 3 day days off that I'm below a 6 on the pain scale. Let that sink in. Okay? So I was off Saturday, I was off Sunday, I was off Monday. I was in so much pain that I almost went to the emergency room Saturday night. I had 2 hours sleep between Saturday and Sunday. I tried to lay down for a little bit of a nap before I went live, and I was like, there's no way that I can go to the store. I just can't do it. Just because it's like I tried going to the store on Saturday and they didn't have all the ingredients that I needed. So I figured, okay, well then Sunday morning I'll go down to the store at the bottom of the hill, which is, a good solid more than a half hour away. And it wouldn't be a half hour away if it weren't for all the damn traffic lights that I have to deal with, right? And it being, this close to the first 10 days, it was like the first 10 days of the month, which means that everybody and their mother that's got food stamps is going to be at the store, and it's going to be a freaking packed madhouse. And it's like, for crying out loud, do I really want to deal with that kind of nonsense today, being in as much pain as I'm in? And it's like, yeah. So now it's like I'm finally below a 6. But tomorrow I have to go back and do this all over again, except for that I'm not going to have to sling, almost 4 tons of freight. But Friday, I might as well be flinging 4 tons of freight, because it's inventory day, because we do inventory every god dang Friday, and which means picking up all the boxes that have been opened, all the bags that have been opened, and freaking weighing them out, and yeah, and counting everything and moving things around and rearranging things so that everything fits on the shelf properly. And I just can't anymore. I just freaking can't anymore. And then to top it all off, they screwed with me over my overtime, which publicly called out in a group email about being into overtime and not giving an explanation why I was in overtime when I did give it. And it was because I had to train a new person. So it's like, so I gave my explanation. What else am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to train this person so that he can be left alone on the weekends to babysit the madhouse, right? It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. It's a whole lot of stupid. So I politely sent an email back. I said, excuse me, but I didn't have any overtime this last week. That's carryover from the week where I got jacked on my overtime, because even though I did send you an email with a manual time card and a detailed explanation why, of course my detailed explanation why was 10 words or less, but keep it simple, stupid, right? Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. And now you're gonna poo-poo me on a mistake that you made. No, that's not my bad. That's your bad. Oh, yeah, I overlooked that. No sorry. No, oops. I screwed up. I'm sorry. Or I made a mistake. It's like, no. You jacked me on my overtime. You publicly called me out for something that I didn't do. Well, I did, but I had explained it away and submitted a manual time card. And explained it away within the time frame that was required in order for that to make it on my last paycheck, right? So, and there's nothing I can do about it. Anytime I have to work a day that is not my day, I have to let my boss know to put me on the schedule for that day so that I can clock in and out. But I still have to fill out a stupid ass manual time slip, because with a detailed explanation why. It's like, if we're going to be micromanaging me, at least get your facts straight. I'm so freaking mad. And then my boss is like, well, if you need me to lend you money, it's like, no, it's not a matter of lending me money, you dillhole. You mother effing dillhole. It's not about lending me any money. It's the principle that I should have been paid accordingly. So, with that in mind, it's like they've given me my out. They've gifted me an out. So I really have no I have no regrets, no remorse, no nothing. It's like, okay, so you're going to poo-poo me on something that I didn't do, call me out publicly in front of the whole team on something that I didn't do, or that I did everything that I needed to do. You were the one that dropped the ball. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to get out of my monkey suit. So I've got a nice button-down white blouse on. Of course, I've got a colorful t-shirt on underneath it because, you know, I can't be too professional. Business casual it is, I guess. You know, nice yoga pants, my tennis shoes, a t-shirt with a button-down blouse over the top of it. Got my hair in a ponytail, no makeup on. I got I wore my eyeglass toppers with cherries all over them. They're white with cherries all over them. Figured that would be cool because I can't find my Taco Tuesday ones, but it's not Tuesday anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think I lost those ones. So mad. You know, it's like, yeah, you just don't jerk around. It's F around and find out day, you know? It's like, this is what happens when I'm left to my own devices. I'm going to explain that to my boss. I'm going to say, you know, what kind of mayhem can I cause on my 3 days off? I can tell you what kind of mayhem. Can you match $42 an hour? No? Sucks to be you. You know? So, yeah, it made some really good connections today. It felt right. It felt right. Plus, it's in my old stomping grounds. You know, I was born and raised in Burien, which is you know, Normandy Park is on the outskirts of Burien. It used to be Burien back in the day, before Burien became a city. And actually, a long time ago, it was all considered the same area. It was all Burien, or all Seattle, you know. But Burien could claim Normandy Park as, you know, a part of them, you know, back in the day. Passing by the Game Farm Park right to the left. But as you can see, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm really excited. So I really felt like I needed to share those details with y'all. That was the quickest turnaround on an interview that I've had in a while. So, am I gonna miss the jail? Yeah, I'm gonna miss the COs. They're probably gonna be like, "Oh, really? Again? You're leaving us again? Oh my God." So, yeah. Yes, I'm leaving you again. But this time it's for good. I can't stay within the lines to save my life today. That's what all the beeping is. It's telling me, hey, you've crossed the line. So this is Lakeland Hills area, just coming up out of Auburn, up into the backside of Lakeland Hills, which is another, you know, fairly nice neighborhood. And I think about it, I think I might actually take this way to work when I switch over to the new job. head up through the frickin' marina area, and because it's like Des Moines Memorial Drive turns into First Avenue. I don't know. Just don't know. But I really appreciate y'all hanging out. I wish I could read the screen. But I'm driving, and I would be distracted driving. It is a beautiful day, though. 91 degrees now. In the shade. I just can't wait to be home. Just can't wait to be home. I want to get out of this bra. This bra is annoying. I hate bras. Which means I'm going to be back in chef coats again. That's one of the things I don't like about that kitchen, is that it is damn hot. It's hot in that kitchen. It's hot in the kitchen. So, it's cooking 2 days a week, and the rest of it is doing admin stuff and events and stuff like that. So I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. I'm all right. Okay. So thank you, Tiffany. I'm stopped at a light so I can actually read now. I'm excited for me too. Hi, Katie. I'm excited too. Because I just can't. The whole weekend, man, I'm telling you, it's like the level of pain. No person should have to feel that kind of pain and not be able to be medicated for it. Yeah, to go to the emergency room, they're only gonna like shoot me up with Demerol and then send me off to freaking physical therapy and be like, here's some naproxen, here's some prescription grade naproxen and some muscle relaxers. Oh wait, sorry, we can't give you that muscle relaxer because you're over the age of 50. So here, take this one instead. It's a lesser effective one, but it's like, screw this. Like, why is it that everybody else can get pain medication except for me? Yeah, and granted, I got a THC pain gel, which has helped me keep it below a 6. But I didn't, I didn't put any on this morning. I'm starting to feel it. I had plenty of time to rethink my life choices. And I feel sad. I feel sadness because it's like, I spent 2 years, almost 2 years of my life at the jail, and it was an interesting job, and it gave me lots of memories. The banana, the dude pissing in the sink, or in the dish sink, and just other shenanigans that makes me think, WTF, you cannot possibly be this dumb. Really? Really now? It's like, my God, why? Just cracks me up. But I get to order my staples from Cisco, and I get to deal with a produce company, and I can bring on my own meat company if I want. Or I could bring on my own, or I could get rid of Cisco entirely and go, somebody else. And I get to create my own menus. It's all me. But God, I thought I botched it. Especially when he's like, "Well, where's the dessert?" I go, "I really didn't have time to do a dessert." I was like looking around. And it's like, I make really elaborate desserts, but right now I'm just on a blank right now because there really isn't a whole hell of a lot. And he's like, "Well, we kind of need a dessert." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. Let me go back in there and let me see what I can do." So whip something up on the fly. It took me like 5 minutes, but it didn't come out as I wanted it to, and it was a fried ice cream with cinnamon and brown sugar and crushed cornflakes. I didn't have any nuts. I couldn't find any nuts, but so it was cornflakes and sugar and cinnamon and ice cream, and you rolled it. But the kitchen was way too hot. Ice cream wasn't cold enough, and so I was like, so it kind of didn't quite work, but it did work because they thought it was great. I'm like looking at it and it's like, this is not my best. So I, squeezed some Hershey's chocolate syrup on the bottom of the bowl, put the ice cream ball on top of that, and then drizzled some caramel sauce over the top of that. Couldn't find any whipped cream, so it's like, no whipped cream and no cherries. But I did find sprinkles, but I didn't do sprinkles because, they would have just, you wouldn't have been able to see it. So, yeah. But they were happy, and I guess apparently the executive director's favorite vegetable is, I found out, I learned something interesting today. He loves broccoli. He loves broccoli. Broccoli is his favorite vegetable. So, and I chose that because it's like, it looked nice. Didn't have a lot to choose from. But at the same time, it's like, the kitchen was clean, and not as clean as I would like it, but it was clean, and it was organized. Needs a little bit more organization. However, I'm sure that I can put my own touches on it, and it'll be my kitchen in no time, It'll be my kitchen in no time. Let's see if the hot air balloons are up in the air yet, or getting ready to get up in the air. Probably not because it's so damn hot. But this little stretch of road is like, just this dead zone of just, depleted farmland that used to be, beautiful, lush farmland. And now the properties are just sitting, dormant, and nothing's really being done with it. And, if I ever won the lottery, I would buy one of these parcels. I would definitely buy one of these parcels. Do something cool with it. Maybe, turn it into a bed and mist, and like, have a Victorian looking home built, and do a corn maze or something, and do hay rides. This is the Wagyu Ranch. It was really funny because I wish I was able to have stopped, because there's a sign here that says Peterson Wagyu Cattle Ranch, and one of their cattle was like, he was like underneath the sign with his head poking out. It was so cute. But I had cars behind me, so it's like, and there's nowhere to stop really. Yeah, it was just really kind of cute. It would have made a really awesome picture because, you know, one of their cows was, you know, poking his head out from underneath the sign in just such a way that, you know, he actually looked like he was part of the signage. It was pretty neat. You know, yeah, you know, today it's the first time that I've felt relaxed in weeks. Yeah. Alright, here comes Mount Rainier. Let's see if I can turn the camera a little bit. And it's going to disappear for a quick sec. No. So, yeah, this morning started out really interesting. We got a set of twin girls that just graduated from high school that live down a few houses down from us, and you know, we live in this little tiny town out in the middle of nowhere. Sitting on the porch, watching she cook some roasts, or trying to anyway. Between all the phone calls and you know, that it was like, you know, couldn't have any you know, quiet time to just focus on, you know, just waking up and drinking my coffee, sitting on the porch, enjoying the sunshine. And yeah, so the girls, they're in a car, and they come up to the stop sign right there on the little road, right? And there's a stop sign there, and they were coming up to a stop when this guy comes barreling around the corner. He also lives down the street. Comes barreling around the corner and cuts the corner too tight and runs into them head on. And I'm like, wow. You would think that, you know, these streets out where we live are really, really narrow. I mean, some of them, you can't even fit two cars going opposite directions on a couple of those turns, right? You have to, like, pull over and wait for a moment for somebody to pass by or play chicken. Here's Maris Farms. This is usually where I lose signal. So hopefully I don't lose signal. So you would think that you would know to creep up onto that corner slowly, because one, our neighbor on the corner put up this fence and you can no longer see around the corner now, and his cherry tree is also, you know, hanging over. And yeah, he just plowed right into them. Just plowed right into them. And the guy gets out, and instead of going and checking on the girls to see if they were all right, he goes and walks over to the front of his car to look at the front of his car, and then goes over and says, "Are you guys all right?" It's like, I'm like looking at that, and I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Go find out if they're all right first before checking your car. For crying out loud, what is wrong with people? It's like, human beings are more valuable than a car. You know, check on the people first. And he just pissed me off, and he's like talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, what the hell were you thinking? You know, I yelled at him. I'm like, what the hell were you thinking going around the corner like that? And he made some snarky comment, and I didn't quite understand. But I knew it was a snarky comment because we live out in the middle of frickin' nowhere. Some of these people are, you know, just downright, you know, America. So that was my fun for this morning. You know, I finally got around to, you know, getting my acting gear and getting into the shower and putting on some regular clothes, which I don't own a lot of, because it's either chef clothes or pajamas. Or pajamas, that's all I got. Yeah, but maybe I'll buy myself a whole new wardrobe. I don't know. So I think on Saturday, I was talking to Timmy on the way home for a little bit. And I think on Saturday, we're going to pack a picnic and go down to the marina. Just go hang out at the beach and do a live. Because I wasn't planning on staying that long, and then on top of all of it, it's like, you know, you have to pay to park there now, and no wallet. It doesn't take cash. There were a lot of people at the marina, though, or at the pier. It's gorgeous. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It'd be fun. Either that or go down to Saltwater State Park. I haven't been there in a long time. West Mason closed. Use Monday loss. Which one's West Mason? I don't know. Anyway, so the chicken and rice casserole was absolutely delish last night. By the way, Timmy and I had that for dinner instead of tacos, but I'm feeling kind of taco-y today, so I think we're gonna switch over to tacos for tonight, and then smash the rest of that all the hell in a handbasket. I might actually splurge a little and have two. I might have two. I just feel like I'm a little bit on top of the world. So 2 tacos for me. And then I'm definitely going to have a bowl of ice cream. Definitely a bowl of ice cream. Big freaking bowl of ice cream. Yep, ice cream. I'm going to celebrate. Why not? So I'm going to end this live, everybody. Just wanted to let y'all know what was going on. Thank you all for coming, and leave me a comment on something. Just let me know that you were here. Treat something like a virtual guest book and just say, hey, I was here today, you know, because I can't read the screen. Tacos do sound good, Katie. Ooh, lumpia. Yeah, I don't want to go through that again. It's like those lumpia wrappers that I bought a while back. They were just absolutely freaking gross. So, anyway, I'm going to end this stream. Much love to y'all. And I'll see you all soon. Take care.